What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down what's happening with the economic calendar moving forward, talk about other factors out there, which you should be watching for as time goes on. But just know that I'm not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total, not to mention 8.1% APY on invested cash. The offer ends very soon in just about 15 hours. Anyways, let's talk about what's happening with the market. So, as far as the market's going, we are seeing some buyers trying to defend, but I just want to give you guys the warning that even if they do try to defend this, we still have a very bearish looking pattern on SPY, ES, NQ, and the others, and there's no guarantee that the move is going to last, so I do want to warn you to be very, very careful. Now, there are some companies out there, especially a lot of EVs and car companies that are going to be announcing their deliveries. For Tesla, I want to give you guys another warning. So they want to publish their deliveries on January 2nd, which means that today would be possibly the last full trading day. Uh, to get out of it or to enter it, if you want to do that, it's depending on deliveries, because when the market closes today, it's going to be the last day until Thursday. The stock market is going to be closed on Wednesday for New Year's, and then for Thursday, okay, when Thursday finally comes, that's when we're going to be having another market open. And by the time the market opens, it's possible Tesla's deliveries could be out. So, if you really want to enter Tesla or exit it, this might be your last chance, possibly. And I just want to warn you guys to be careful with it, because it's possible Tesla makes a big move or a big move up or down, depending on how deliveries end up going. It's the end of the year, the last day of the year today, the last year of trading for the year. We'll see what the market does as a result of that. There's also news coming out that the New York Stock Exchange is going to be closing on January 9th to honor President Jimmy Carter, who passed away. So I want to just send condolences to his family. So yeah, this is going to be another big piece of news. That's going to be affecting the markets as well. Besides that, there's nothing else that's too crazy that's going on. There was that news about how the Treasury's computers got hacked, but despite that happening from the actor, there's always that possibility that this news could just potentially cool off very soon, because I saw other updates about this that suggested that there's no evidence right now that the hackers still have access to the different pieces of data from the Treasury. So I saw some news that said that. Hopefully, this is not anything too crazy, and things end up improving. Hopefully, things improve. So we'll see how it goes. Besides that, for today, it's December 31st at 9 o'clock a.m. We have some home price data coming out. And then we also have the Dallas Fed Services Index at 10:30 a.m. So look for some volatility after that. Besides that, that is it for my analysis of our data. Now let's just focus on these charts. So as far as SPY is going, it's very tricky. I initially thought this was going to sell off more from here, but we're actually getting bought back up to start things off. So even if we do get bought back up and they try to push this higher, we need to break past like 600 plus for us to have a chance for the bulls to try to reverse this head and shoulders, right? If we can't get up there, we can try to push into the low 590s, 591.7, if not 593 is always a possibility at these EMAs. But then even if we push higher, we could still reject and just start turning back down, because we have this imbalance down here to fill, and the head and shoulders is still present. So that makes me say that, look, I wouldn't fully trust that we're going to make a full recovery, at least quite yet, unless we could break some very, very tough resistance. We're not even close to that resistance, so it doesn't make sense to be extremely bullish, at least quite yet. So could we see a temporary push? They are shifting things, so there is that possibility we do get a small push, at least to the upside. So I'm always open-minded for that, but just know that I can't make any promises, because this might just be a small move because of the much larger head and shoulders. What else is interesting is that we also happen to have a head and shoulders within the head and shoulders, so like the right shoulder could be forming it. So that makes me a little bit more wary of turning, way too bullish, if anything. So it's possible that this is like a left shoulder, this is a head, then we could be forming like a right shoulder before it tries to turn. That's another theory. So if we do try to push higher, just be careful once we get to this resistance in the lower 590s, and we'll be watching to see if that leads to a rejection. For ES, we have a left shoulder here, a head, and then a right shoulder. We do have this imbalance down here. it is possible to try to push as close to 6,000, but the issue with the low 6,000s is that we are technically making lower highs. And even if we do push up there, we could still reject and start dipping lower. So there's a much larger head and shoulders that could lead to downside later on. We may get a temporary bounce for now, but it's just temporary, right? We might temporarily get close to 6,000. No guarantee it lasts, and we could always turn right after that. For Nvidia, we're on a bit of a downtrend, making lower highs like this. Now, it is possible we try to push higher, but like I said before, in order for this inverse head and shoulders to pan out, you want to see Nvidia break 142. If we break 142 by early next year, we're looking for 146 plus as our target. If we come short of 142, we just hit 140 and reject. There's going to be a risk of us coming back down to 136. And if that fails, this will be dumping more. This also could be resembling an inverse cup and handles. You want to be very careful. We'll look for an attempt to get close to 140. If we reject it, we could be dumping back down. So watch and see what that ends up leading to. For Bitcoin, we could be testing 95,866. If we can't break past that, it's possible we just hit this and come back down. It's going to be a tough resistance. If we do break this, we could get closer to about 96,800. Then we'll have to see what kind of reaction we get from there. For Tesla, it's going to try a rebound. It's just temporarily. We could try to get close to about 429 to 433. But the problem with Tesla is that there's no guarantee the move is going to last. And then simultaneously, what's going to matter is going to be deliveries. Deliveries are either going to shoot Tesla back to these highs, or we could just be looking for a big rejection. It could go either way, so give this the time it needs. NQ had a high here, came down, made a lower high and came down. We're looking for resistance at 21,500 to about 21,600. It's possible it pushes a bit and then rejects, especially as you have this imbalance down here. So just know that we're making lower highs, and I wouldn't fully trust this move. The QQQ could be pushing close to 520, but we have to break 523 to have a chance of turning back up. As of right now, it's technically, it had a high here, came down, made a lower high. So it could push a bit for 520, but if we can't break resistance, there's always the possibility it turns back down to 511. For Aapl, we could be attempting to retest 254 or below, then come back down to 252. If that fails us, we're looking for a dump back down to 248. Palantir is showing some weakness. It may attempt to retest 78.76. But if we can't break that, it could just be a temporary push to dip. For the IWM Russell 2000, we're looking for a test of 222.5. If that breaks, we're looking for 224. But just know that, we're still on a downtrend. We need to get back above like 228 to really start pushing. There might be a small push for 224, and then we'll see what kind of reaction we get. Coin could be retesting 267 to 272, and we'll have to see if you reject off that. So look for a temporary push here, and then we'll see what kind of reaction we get there. Amazon is the same. We're looking for 224 as our resistance. If that breaks, we're turning higher. But if anything, we could be making lower highs. So then we could be turning right after that. For Meta, we could attempt to retest 597 and then 597 to 600. And if we reject it, we're looking for a move back down to 589. Microsoft's on a bit of a downtrend, but there could be an attempt to bounce for 428 to 430, but then we could reject after that because the downtrend is still evident. Look for a small bounce for 428 or so. Google may also retest 194, but range bound between 193 and 192, so it's going to be very tight. But just know that there's always that possibility of a head and shoulders here. So even if it does push a bit, it could still reject and start dipping below 190. If we lose 190, we turn it down a lot lower, but otherwise we're just range bound. So my view of the market is this. Could they pump us a little bit? Now it looks like they might try to do this. This is a shift from yesterday. But there's no guarantee the move lasts because we could just be making a lower high here. And then this could always turn later on down the line. So just keep that in mind. Just be very careful. With that being said, I thank you all so much for listening. Have a good rest of your day and peace out.